Hello, viewers. Welcome to another exciting show of the Professional Times. And today we have a young dynamic leader from born and brought up in India and now is settled in Australia, Mr. Raghulan Gauthaman. So, Raghu, welcome to the show. And let's talk about your journey from beginning and then how you have started, what you have done in India, and then how you have moved to Australia and how you have completed your journey till date.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. So my name is Raghulan Gauthaman. So I'm CEO and director of Virtua Technologies, and it's a software provider based in Sydney. So my journey is like I finished my civil engineering back in India from SRM University, and then from there point onwards, I worked in several industries, starting from an animation studio as an animator, and then I worked in few civil engineering companies as well as IT companies. I worked in BPOs, plenty of jobs, and so a couple of my key things which I've done is I worked in IT security space, and I was awarded Best in World in the year of 2007. And so right at that moment, I had a decision that I need to make. Either I should keep continuing towards IT security side of things, or move on to try different things and equip myself to be in a state where I can run different things and run companies, and that's a sort of my goal. So then I quit my job right after I was awarded, and I came into Australia to do my master's in civil and mining. And so while I was doing it, I was able to get a professional job in an Australian civil consulting firm as one of the civil engineers, and so I worked there for a year, and then I worked in an architectural firm as a structural facade engineer, where I designed facades for airports and some of those large projects which I worked. And so that was a very crucial moment where I have to deal with factory, fabrication, installation, as well as design, and so a lot of those engineering portions as well. As also, I was as an assistant project manager for a few projects. So I need to have some sort of a 360-degree approach to deliver my job, and which gave me a pretty good insight. And so right after that moment, I got a job with one of the leading Autodesk reseller based in Sydney. So they are a platinum reseller, they're number one. And so I had a position where I have to go and do a lot of technical trainings around AutoCAD, Civil 3D, InfraWorks, and a lot of these products, Autodesk-based products. And so I was there and for a few years, and then I worked in a lot of BIM-related projects. So some of the projects, some of the key projects which I worked in is our Qatar Expressway project, where I worked as one of the senior technical consultant, and I was designing a lot of the data movement from CAD data to GIS. So that is one of the biggest portions I've done in the Qatar project. Apart from that, plenty of large projects I used to lead as a consultant. And then I had an opportunity to work with a company called B2 IT, Spatial IT. So where I did spatial net consulting for a year. So that is when I did a lot of GIS spatial net consulting development and training. And so pretty much traveled plenty of places delivering trainings. And so right after that, did quite a lot of integration projects involving telecommunications, engineering, and then IT systems, pretty much integrating Oracle, SAP, a lot of these systems with engineering systems to talk to each other. So that is one of the things. And parallelly, I was also running my own little venture on the sites for last 7-8 years. And so most of the cases we will be developing mobile applications, web applications, and IoT projects. And so during all these times, I also did my MBA and my advanced diploma in robotics, mechatronics, and remote engineering. And then did around 27 IT certification from TOGAF, certified to AWS certified, Microsoft, and a lot of those ones. And so now with virtual technologies, so it's a 1 year old company which is coming from my previous company, which is Zacodia. And so this one is pure software development. So we do on a premium side where we develop a lot of mobile apps, and we also take care of not just the development, we also take care of the solution architecture of it. So making sure that the solution works in a real world. So it's not like we deliver a project and then it's up to the client to figure out how to do rest of the work. So we pretty much help them on the market research and also investor pitching. So we did some of the investor pitch for some of the projects, and we have secured funding over $2 to $4 million for some of the projects. And so here, so we have done over 100 mobile apps, and our in-house app development team have delivered over 60 mobile apps, which is all free apps that we put it through for people to use it. And then we have a marketing company where we have around 60-70 Facebook pages and YouTube channels, and we do a lot of training videos and yeah, a lot of social media stuff that goes around that space as well. So yeah, so this year the target is for us to reach 500 apps and fill our YouTube channels with at least 20,000 subscribers on each of them. And then our Facebook pages already have around 4 to 5 million followers. So top it up with another 5 million to reach 10 million. And so that would be our focus. The goal is, like any other development companies, we have a lot of ideas, a lot of really decent one, good ones. And so we don't want them to be unheard. So we don't want to spend too much money on marketing. So that's why this marketing company is called Virtual Technology, Virtualtainment, which was created 4 years ago. And in a goal that when we launch that company, which is due to launch this year, we should always have a base which is ready, which is like the target is 5 million users. So that is what the focus is. And then a proper channel which produces content, because content is king. So if you're not able to produce a lot of content, then you'll be buying content that goes your money, and then you will have no control over the quality of the content. So there is a lot of things that goes in play as well. So that is why last 4 years we worked on several small to large projects for clients, helping creating content. So we understand how this thing works and how we can get our hands dirty on it. And right now we have professional studios back in Sydney as well as in Chennai. So we produce a lot of video content ourselves, and we're setting up another 2 studios as well. And apart from that, I have a co-working space business we're just starting up in Chennai. So that's a commercial venture. We're starting up with 60 seats, 60 seats, a location, one in Chennai, and another one is a studio. So pretty much that's about us and about myself as well. And yeah.
How do you see the India market versus the Australian market? You have worked in both the areas. So, how do you see the difference in kind of competition in both the markets, and what is your plan? How you're taking up your company to the next level, looking at the different market and the potentials?
Um, I think the Australian market is a lot laid back compared to the Indian market. So people are not aggressive towards working on weekends and things like that. It's a lot more late market. And so whereas with the Indian market, I tend to do meetings beyond typical office hours and on weekends and things like that. So it's like there is plenty of opportunities I'm seeing around the Indian space. And it is just there is two sets of clients we generally classify. One is the client who is willing to spend for quality, and another one is client who just want the product out. They don't really want to spend too much on quality and things like that. So towards the Australian side, we get to see a lot of people who are willing to spend more to get a better quality. And so back in India, we started getting quite a few clients right now who's keen on quality. So we are happy to see that. But that is the sort of space we want the Indian market to grow, because no point in doing something which no one likes it. So it's like no cheap apps or no cheap products makes millions. So people need to make sure that they put some taste into it and things like that. So I see Indian market has got huge potential. It's just anything that you sell it could reach millions of people just within a day, which is not going to happen in Australia, for an example. It's never going to happen. So it's take quite a bit of time, and then there is competition and things like that. And so I see Indian market is pretty aggressive market. So it's a lot of players around that space, and but we see a lot of growth towards the AI segment, machine learning, and security space as well. So quite a bit of opportunities in Indian market. Yeah.
So every market, every region has their own set of challenges or difficulties. Uh, Working in the Indian market versus working in the Australian region, specifically on the business segment. Uh, what kind of challenges you have faced, and what major differences you have felt between these two market in terms of challenges, the business challenges?
Business challenges in terms of so first is these days we're happy to say that we don't face any basic technical challenges, technology challenges, because both of these markets provide best infrastructure for us to pretty much all we need is a good data storage servers, and then networks and things like that, uninterrupted networks and things like that for any technology company to work without any issues. So these days we are happy with the Indian market as well as an Australian market. With the Australian market moving from 4G to 5G, and Indian market already have fast internet. So we see that that's one big hurdle which we don't have to worry now. But apart from that, so the scope of works that we're delivering, the some of the projects and the scale of the projects, I think both of these market has got a lot to offer. And the challenges which we typically face is the some of the aged workforce in some of the large agencies tend to stick on to technology that has got outdated. And so for them to move on and take the new challenges and taking and making them accept the newer technologies, newer choices is some of the challenges that we always face. And so another typical challenge would be is finding workforce to deliver the sudden spike in work. So typically, what we do is we have a standard set of workforce. We deliver a constant pipeline of products and services that we deliver. And some cases where we get sudden spike and due to support issues and things like that. So finding resources in Australia is not that easy, and it's a bit expensive as well as to get them groomed and to fit into the flow is also takes time. Whereas with the Indian market, which is a lot more easier, and so the job market is bit weaker at the moment. So we get, but good for us as actually we can get to find a lot of good talents in a better price, which is good for us. And apart from that, I think this would be the major challenges that we face in both of these markets.
You talked about the resources which usually getting cheaper in India as compared to other countries. Do you also have the similar kind of experience working with the Indian client versus international client? Because Indian clients are typically very demanding, very choosy about the work, the kind of pricing and other factors, whereas the quality they usually compromise. But the international customers have a different set of expectations. So, how do you see the Indian clients and the international clients?
Yeah, so the main thing is the scope creep. If you see, that's one of our biggest killer in technology space. So what we do to address some of those issues is typically as we see the compare the different set of clients. So as you said is right. The Australian clients, they tend to look onto the user interface, and some of those things they look into as the most high priority things. Whereas Indian clients look into the sort of performance and sort of things that they want to get. It's more they look into the nuts and bolts of it. So the looks of it is always the second priority with most of our Indian clients. That's a sort of the priorities they have given. And from our side, to mitigate these issues and things like that, we pretty much we started writing really detailed scope and specification, functional specification documents, and which we sign it off with the clients to make sure that we don't allow any scope creeps drive down the track of the project.
How do you connect and maintain your relationship with your clients? Of course, there will be difference between the Indian clients and the international clients because of the different set of expectations they have. So, how do you maintain the relationship in professional career and in your personal life as well?
I pretty much work around 16 hours a day. So most of my clients have my number. So they tend to message me and they know that I will respond back within a minute. So that's sort of my winning towards what I'm doing. So it's just because I know for sure that no one's going to work after 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and they're not going to be working on Saturdays and Sundays. For me, it's like it's not about me working on it. It's like understanding what is the client is panicking about, and so what sort of, it's just, anyone who's spending money, either they're buying a car or a software, they might have some situations where they might think that, they're not going to be getting the right product, or they may be getting something faulty or something is broken. So they may always get this panics at the beginning stage of the project. So we understand that, and that is a time I support pretty much almost any region they are. I support them during that phase quite a bit very quickly, so that way they don't really have any anxiety. So any part of the time, if you send a message, generally I respond to them straight away. And apart from that, we tend to look after the client even after the work is done, because what happens is, so we have a set of guys outgoings we have for salaries and expenses and all that, marketing and all these expenses, and apart from that we have a profit. And so in that, a buffer portion is always taken and then given back to the client. So the way it works is, every client we service, and then it doesn't matter if the client is bigger or smaller, and we tend to do some little works here, free works here and there. So it's not actually free, it's just, typically with any company, the client would be spending money on that sort of things. And they know for sure, anyone who's older than 35, and if they have done even a small website, they know the difference between us and another person, another agency very quickly. So that is one thing we always looking to expand as well. So the whole point is, we don't want it to be like one of those big, large companies and the client becomes a number and the staff becomes a number. So even if we get bigger, so we want to make sure that we split them into smaller silos, and then the smaller silos take care of projects, and at the same time, no one loses their identity, either a client or a staff member. So we want to make sure that we keep them in a close proximity and then make them feel that as if they are special to us. And that's how we treat as well. So almost like, because they're feeding us, and to us, we respect almost every client with utmost gratitude towards what they have, the opportunity they have given us. And yeah.
Every person in life, they have the success and failures. So I'm sure the failures are the next step for the success. So what kind of failures you have seen in your life, and then how you have converted those failures into your success milestones?
Yes, there is a lot of failures, and I think pretty much failures teach us quite a bit of more, into, especially into life, and then what you want to achieve and what you want to focus on. Because failures, I think failures hit me more. It's more impactful compared to success. So I won last 2 years Business Chamber Awards, and then so yeah, so right from my childhood, I was an athlete as well. So I won few district and state championship in chess. So yeah, so pretty much I had a lot of success from my childhood, but that comes after a lot of hard work. And at the same time, I always had a lot of critics, and those critics are my pretty much the biggest inspiration to achieve more, because nothing teaches you more than pain and humiliation. So that's given me more. And pretty much the failures, plenty of things, a lot of companies which I worked with, a lot of technology partnerships that we have done, they have not shined as well as what we thought of. And so that has actually taken the hit, personally on me as well as on the company. And the way we that's I think that's how we get mature as well. Any company and any director, CEO, that's how they mature. They make mistakes and they tend to learn from it. But yes, we did quite a bit of things, and we have our slippages there as well.
So how do you motivate yourself when you get up in the morning and then work for 15 or 16 hard working hours, and to get satisfied yourself that you're satisfied that you're working? So what keeps you motivating?
From my childhood, this is how I work. Typically, I have seen my dad, my plenty of people. They go from 9 o'clock and then they come back at 5 o'clock, and then they do this regularly, and they don't really love what they're doing. And then they have this typical life of going through a lot of things. And so I thought that, why can't we sacrifice our life a little bit in the beginning? And that means, I can scale what a typical person would have scaled in 7 years if I scale it in 1 year or less than 1 year. So that means, I can have a pretty much good head start. So that is what I aim at. So every day I start early, or every day I finish things much faster than and quicker than what I should have done or done before in the previous day. I think that I'm actually a bit ahead of the race. So that's what I think of. And another thing is, so almost like every day, I pump up myself almost 4:30 in the morning. So and then I go to my gym, and then I get on started with my work very quickly. And moreover, I think it's also goes back to my discipline on towards my healthy habits as well, because I don't smoke or drink or even coffee. So no junk food, nothing. So it's just because of that discipline, as well as keeping myself healthy. And good, thank God, accidentally I was also a chess player, so my brain also able to digest a lot of information in a day without getting strained, because that's what we get battered when being a professional chess player. And also working as a developer for several years, tend to take a lot of mental pressure is sort of much easier thing for us to do it. And I think the motivation is basically, end of the day, I see the whole bunch of things that I've done, which is my big board right here, and accomplishing things. And from three people company, now we are 45. And for started with one app, now we are around 70 apps that we have published. And yeah, so pretty much every little thing that we started putting effort continuously and being persistent towards getting it moving at least an inch daily is what my motivation is.
So, from today's date to next 10 years, how do you see yourself growing and your business going in which direction?
Um, so from today to 10 years, I'm planning to work on different things, and different sustainability factors. My primary growth is just, so the first set of things is technology company. We have an e-commerce company as well. So the technology company, my plan is to focus on building 500 apps this year. And so with that one, we tend to get a regular revenue stream coming in. And with that one, we're going to take that as a separate division within Virtue Technologies, which will be building free apps and a lot of tools, maybe paid from productivity tools and things like that. And we also started building games. We already built a few of them. And so we started building one high-end game at the moment. So focus would be to build a lot of these assets, which would generate revenue, recurring revenue for us. And in turn, it can propel the engine to build more. At the same time, this will keep the other engines working as well. So that is one of the main thing. And the second thing is, we wanted to get ourselves bit serious about the content creation, and then into the social media section, as well as the news and media section as well. Because going towards, we already have 70 products in the hand, and then in 10 years we would have plenty more. So we want to make sure that the marketing company is completely bootstrapped, and then it has its own set of clients, and start generating its own set of revenue and growing in that own area as well, so that we don't have to spend a lot of money marketing our own products. So our channels would be able to take us further than what we could. So focusing on the hub, virtual hub, which is our co-working office space. And so we planning end of this year at least four more centers across India, and starting with Coimbatore, Bangalore, and Hyderabad, and some of these southern regions in the beginning, and then Mumbai. So that would be the focus for Virtual Hub. And then with Virtual Grid, which is our IoT-based company, and so we plan to launch four products currently at the design stage at the moment. So I think in the next 10 years, we will have at least all the virtual companies joining hands together with and then working together in a very close proximity, and then helping each other out, as well as making more tighter integration towards a lot of different products and technologies that's available out there. So we don't want to be some of those companies who build products without very deep understanding of it. So anything that we do, we wanted to make sure that we have a very deep understanding in what we do, deliver it, maintain it, and then move to the next one. So that would be our focus for the next 10 years.
How do you make a proper balance between your professional life and your personal life when you're working so hard? You have to give time to your family as well. So how do you maintain that?
So that one, I think my family might be the best person to answer it. So because I think I'm always on an autopilot where I just think and think about a lot of my ideas, my patents. I have few patents as well, and then so pretty much I'm full on thinking about most of those things. But on the good side is since I'm an entrepreneur, almost like for the last 7 6 years maybe, probably 5 years at least. I pretty much have worked most of the time from home. So even though I'm pretty much working a lot of hours, I'm still with my family most of the time. So I think I would spend more time with them compared to a typical dad. And so on that side, I thought of okay, but I still got to improve quite a bit. Yeah.
So you're working very hard and very passionate about the kind of work you're doing for a company and as a professional. You've been very success at the very early stage. You've become an entrepreneur. So what kind of messaging you want to give to the young entrepreneurs who globally who are working very hard, uh, getting a lot of criticism or a lot of trouble in the success path. So what kind of messaging you would like to give to them?
So one thing which I see is so typically, with some of the entrepreneurs is the difference between an entrepreneur and a regular, employee, for an example, or a regular staff member, I would say, is entrepreneurs hardly say no. They tend to take more opportunities. They tend to take risk. So that is one of their biggest plus points. But right now, if you see the technology intrusion is almost in any field, because coming from a civil engineering background, I have seen like how civil engineering was there and 10 years ago and now it is. And so working for a company like Autodesk, and so learned quite a lot of about like say how things is going to progress in different fields across multiple industries. So I would say entrepreneurs at different industry levels, they think differently and they work differently. But in the goal, in a nutshell, the success is sort of comes only in a sort of like a few sort of patterns, I would say. So, to my understanding, any entrepreneur who's a bit scary about changes and who's reluctant to go and make some changes and take some bit more risk is going to have a bit more struggle. So, in order to avoid the struggle, just take every little opportunity, progress with that, learn from that, and then if it's not cup of your tea, at least stop there. Rather than stopping at the beginning itself. Just try to learn different things. That's the main thing, and master a few, and then you have to be jack of almost all trades. Okay.
So it was wonderful talking to you, Raghu, and thank you for taking out and being part of our show, The Professional Times. And we wish you all the very best for your future work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I really want to thank Professional Times as well as Mr. Verma for giving me this opportunity. And thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.